Hello, my name is Adam Bean and welcome to Airhacks FM. JavaONE 2017. This year in completely different location. So year before, on the last years, it was always in 4 hotels in San Francisco. Right now it was in Moscone West, closer to the Oracle Open World. The location was great. So the Moscone West was really nice. Why? Because all the sessions took place on one level. So you didn't have to walk a lot between the sessions, and it was a huge time saver, and it was a nice experience. What also happened this year was the keynote didn't took place on Sunday rather than on Monday afternoons, which is actually new. And the keynote was really interesting. So the last keynotes at JavaONE were not that exciting, but this one, lots of new stuff was announced. So the keynote started with Intel slot. This was sponsored slot, but even the Intel part was interesting. So what Intel announced is persistent collections for Java, a GitHub project. And what it is you can use collections, but the state of the collection is persistent. So it is stored on Intel devices, not in RAM. So the collections will behave like a database, which is really interesting for application design, because then, caching, for instance, is not that critical if you would like to achieve the performance that it was before, because there will be less and less performance difference between persistent RAM and volatile RAM. Also, the Vector API developer program was announced. So Intel worked really close with Oracle, and the idea is that you can access the Vector API to execute SIMD instructions running on the GPU without evolving the JNI, Java Native Interface, which is better for performance. So this is the big deal here. Then Eclipse Enterprise for Java project was announced. And this is the open sourcing of the full Java EE 8 Plus specs. So not Java EE 8 rather than Java EE 9, starting with Java EE 9. And the big deal is all the TCKs are going to be open sourced as well, which is not the case. So it will open the possibilities for new application server vendors, because if this TCK is open source, everyone can provide their implementation, which hopefully will result in more application server implementations. Also, the specs, so the JCP specs, are going to be open sourced in the longer term. The only problem is, of course, the copyright issues. So they have to be resolved somehow, but Oracle seems to be fully committed to open source Java EE to the Eclipse EE4J project. I was not very happy with the name first, but because I had no idea why you need Eclipse in the name and why the 4. But it turns out the 4 is absolutely required for legal reasons, and all Eclipse projects have to have the name Eclipse in it. Then it's absolute pragmatic choice to call it EE4J. And by the way, the Twitter handler is Eclipse EE4J. Was also interesting, there is an analyst company called RedMonk, and the James Governor from RedMonk had some stage time. And his explanation was really interesting. He was, I wouldn't say enthusiastic, but positive in the direction Oracle is going with Java developers and open source. And what he mentioned is that Java, it happened more in the last 3 weeks than the last 10 years. Yeah, in the last decade. This is what he said. And what's interesting is that James Governor already participated in Community One in 2007, and even in 2008, on the Sun, they got a full day, which was an unconference day, which was managed and sponsored by RedMonk. So this was like, I remember just the old Sun days. This was actually, the keynote had similar spirit as the JavaONE at Sun and Sun days. Also, the first time we saw Mark Kavich on stage, and Mark is in charge of infrastructure and I guess even Java at Oracle. And the interesting part is Mark was previously at Joyent, and Joyent is the company behind Node.js, and now he switched to Oracle and demonstrated the project FN project for Oracle. So what FN project is, this is like serverless platform. And the idea behind is that you can run straight Java functions. So it looks like, like Java classes with functions which are directly addressable without main method, without implementing interface, just plain Java functions, and of course, other languages. The interesting part is you are deploying to the FN project service, And then you can call the function via REST. So you are actually not depending on any libraries. There's no binary dependency on any FN project specific stuff. What was also interesting, the FN project was open sourced on stage. So they hit, make public the GitHub project on stage. So immediately after the keynote, you could clone the project and play with it, which I actually did. So if you're interested, go to my YouTube channel. This is Bean Adam. Is the name of the channel, and you will find that I record a short, I think 6-minute video how to deploy a function to the FN project. Yeah, this was Mark Kevich. So also there was a new excitement in his part of the keynote, which was really great. Then what we also got is Oracle mentioned several times that they invest significant amount of manpower to Kubernetes, and they are try to integrate Java. They are looking for tighter integration between Java and Kubernetes. This is also a big deal because if we get nice integration between Kubernetes and Java, then we get probably a nice metrics exposition, faster startup time, and the Java will run better in private and public clouds. Also, a part of the FN project is called FDK. So FDK is the Functions Developer Kit. And this is actually what I play with. And this FDK is a possibility to create and push a Java project, build it with Maven, and push it immediately to the serverless service. And it comes also with a Flow API, which allows you to communicate with remote functions. This reminds me a bit to RMI, remote method invocation, via, of course, HTTP. Or even Genie, Java Intelligent Network Infrastructure. This is what we had before. We could push functions, which were Java interfaces back then, and find them using registry. And right now we have something similar using the FN service project, which is able to provide us routes. So you can create routes and find the deployed functions this way. Also, not big news, but announced at the keynote is the new version scheme in Java. So there will be no more Java 10, rather than starting with March 2018. The next version of Java is 18.3. And the features are actually not set in stone, rather than it's a so-called train release. It means every half year we get new Java version. And what is done, it will be part of the release. So this is actually more exciting for Java developers because now something happens, every half year. And what will probably be a part of the March release is quite significant. It's called local variable type inference. So what you can do, will be able to write Java code which looks like the old JavaScript code. So you could write var customers equals new hash set, and what we get is automatic type inference. So we don't have to write the var list is okay and as enough, and all the small changes are part of the Project Ember. So we will be able to look up what actually happened then in Project Ember. Okay, now even more significant, there were lots of excitement on Twitter and post JavaONE. This OpenJDK and Oracle JDK are not going to be merged, rather than they are going to be binary identical. So Oracle plans to open source all the commercial parts of Oracle JDK, also the Java mission control. So everything is going to be open source, which are exciting times, because then you can just use OpenJDK in Docker and it will have the same behavior like Oracle JDK without, any fiddling with licensing and scripting. So this will simplify the process. Also, at the AirHacks TV is one of the recurring questions whether I'm using OpenJDK or Oracle JDK in my projects. So the answer to this question is less relevant in future, because you can use either way, either OpenJDK or Oracle JDK. And I guess you will be able to buy support if you're a larger company for Oracle JDK. So JavaONE was great. It was worth. I spent the full day in sessions as a listener. So I also delivered 3 sessions and participated in one panel. My sessions were, one session was about heavyweight and lightweight. I actually, before JavaONE, I get several questions like why I'm using this because it's more lightweight and why I'm using this because it's more heavyweight, and I had no idea what lightweight or heavyweight means. So the whole session, I tried to clarify that, and I measured the whole time the performance overhead, the installation overhead of application servers, microprofiles, swarms, and even Hello World Java. The next session was about what happens when you take microservices seriously. How much code or how much you can simplify actually your design if you are working with microservices. So this was also like code deletion session. And the last one was unusual. So I hacked the whole time on stage JavaScript with CSS, fully relying on web standards, and I trying to explain what happens when you just focus on standards without using any framework. So like no migration session. All the sessions are on YouTube channel, but not the last one, HTML5. This was not recorded. Everything else is on YouTube channel already on the conference playlist. Thank you for listening, and see you and hear you at airhacks.com, airhacks.io, and airhacks.tv. So thank you and bye.